Maricela Duarte had never imagined that a single moment in a grocery store parking lot would change the way people in her small coastal town looked at her. She had planned only to grab diapers, formula, and some fruit before heading back to her sister's apartment, where she and her son had been staying temporarily. Life had not been gentle these past months, and the exhaustion in her face showed it. But she kept moving because stopping meant remembering, and remembering hurt more than she could carry. On this particular evening, the air smelled faintly of ocean salt as the sun dipped behind the horizon. The parking lot lights flickered on, humming softly overhead. Maricela walked with steady, careful steps, pushing a cart filled with the few essentials she could afford. Ahead of her was a woman carrying a sleeping infant, the baby's cheek resting peacefully on her shoulder. Tiny fingers curled into the fabric of her blouse. At first, Maricela noticed nothing unusual. But as she approached the aisle between cars, she saw another woman stomping toward the mother with a storm behind her eyes. Her name, as Maricela would later learn, was Brianna Halston, one of those people who believed her frustration gave her permission to behave without grace. With every step, Brianna's anger grew visible, like heat shimmering off pavement. The mother holding the baby, unaware of the approaching fury, adjusted her bag and continued walking slowly. Maricela sensed trouble before it happened. She slowed her pace, watching wide-eyed, as Brianna reached the mother and snapped something too harsh to hear clearly. The mother tried to respond gently, but Brianna didn't want calm. She wanted chaos. And then, without warning, Brianna's hand flew across the mother's shoulder, slapping her hard enough that the baby stirred in confusion. A soft cry trembling from tiny lips. The sound pierced the air. Maricela froze. Her heart raced. The mother stumbled, holding her infant tighter, whispering soothing words as she steadied herself. Brianna, breathing heavily, seemed almost proud of what she had done. "You think you can ignore me?" she shouted. "You think you can just walk around like you own something?" The mother's voice cracked as she answered, "Please, my baby is sleeping. I'm not looking for a fight." But Brianna wasn't listening. She never listened. Maricela abandoned her cart and stepped forward without thinking. She didn't raise her voice, but something in her tone made both women turn to her. "There's a baby," she said softly. "Whatever your problem is, it's not worth hurting a child." Brianna's eyes narrowed with contempt. "Mind your business." "I am," Maricela replied, "because that baby didn't deserve that." The infant whimpered, tiny breaths trembling. The mother rocked gently, still shaken. Brianna scoffed, tossing her hair over her shoulder. "She deserved it," she muttered, walking around like, "She's innocent." The mother swallowed hard. "I don't know you. I don't know what you think I did." Brianna took a step closer, but Maricela moved between them, arms slightly open, body steady. She didn't know where her courage came from. Maybe from the months she had spent feeling powerless. Maybe from the nights she had cried quietly beside her own sleeping son. Maybe because she understood the feeling of being attacked when you were already carrying too much. "Go home," Maricela said gently. "This isn't who you want to be." For a moment, it seemed Brianna might strike her too. Instead, she spat on the ground, glared at the mother one last time, and stalked off, muttering curses under her breath as she disappeared between rows of parked cars. The mother took a shaky breath. "Thank you," she whispered, adjusting her grip on her infant. The baby had settled again, cheek pressed against her collarbone. Maricela offered a warm, reassuring smile. "Are you hurt?" "Just shaken," the mother said. "I've never seen her before. I have no idea why she came at me like that." They walked together toward a bench near the storefront, away from the commotion. Maricela could still hear her own heart beating too fast, adrenaline simmering under her skin. The mother sat down carefully, stroking her baby's hair. "I'm Leanne," she said softly. "This is River." Maricela's gaze softened. "He's beautiful." "Thank you." Leanne studied her for a moment, a flicker of recognition crossing her eyes. "You look familiar." Maricela hesitated before answering. "Maybe. I used to live here years ago." "Did you go to North Shore High?" Maricela nodded. Leanne smiled faintly. "I was a year below you, I think. You were quiet, always reading." A small laugh escaped Maricela. "That sounds like me." They shared a moment of calm, the tension slowly untangling between them. But then Leanne's expression shifted, curiosity mingling with something heavier. "Can I ask you something?" Maricela nodded. "Of course." Leanne looked down at her sleeping baby, then back up with searching eyes. "Are you Maricela Duarte?" Maricela's breath caught. "Yes." Leanne exhaled like she'd been holding the question tightly. "Then I think," she paused, choosing her words carefully. "I think you might know something about River's father." The world around them seemed to still. Maricela blinked slowly, processing the words that felt impossible. "What?" "I didn't know how to find you," Leanne continued, "but when I saw you today, something in me felt shaken. Because River's father, he told me someone named Maricela was the reason he left." Maricela stared at her, shock rippling through her chest. "Who?" Leanne whispered the name, and everything inside Maricela collapsed at once. She knew the name, too well, too painfully. The name belonged to the man she had tried to forget, the man who had left her without answers, the man whose betrayal had changed the course of her life. And now, unbelievably, he was the father of this woman's child. For a long moment, Maricela couldn't speak. The parking lot noises faded, the rolling carts, the muffled chatter, the hum of lights above them. All she could hear was the echo of that name, the one she had buried beneath months of hurt and silence. Leanne's eyes softened when she saw the pain flicker across Maricela's face. "I thought you might know him," she said quietly, "but I didn't expect it to hurt you." Maricela took a slow breath, steadying herself. "I knew him," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "More than I wish I had." Leanne nodded, staring down at River, brushing a tiny curl from the baby's forehead. "He told me you ruined things for him, that you scared him into leaving. But after today, after seeing how you stepped in to protect a stranger, I'm not sure he ever told me the truth." Maricela's chest tightened. There had been so many lies, so many moments she had replayed in her mind, trying to understand where everything had gone wrong. "He left me," Maricela murmured. "No explanation, no closure. Just walked out of my life like I never mattered." Leanne blinked slowly, pain flickering through her own expression. "He did the same to me," she admitted. "He was sweet at first, gentle, kind, but when I told him I was pregnant, he changed, said he wasn't ready, that I was trying to trap him." River stirred softly, nestling closer against her. "I begged him not to leave," Leanne whispered, tears welling, and his last words were, "At least Maricela knew when to let go." The words struck Maricela like a blow she hadn't braced for, A cold ache spread across her chest. Leanne looked up again, her voice trembling. "But then I saw you today. You didn't let go, you stood up. You didn't turn away from someone in need." A tear slipped down her cheek. "So I think he lied about you, maybe about everything." Maricela reached out gently, placing a warm hand on Leanne's shoulder. "You didn't deserve any of that. And neither did River." Leanne held her gaze for a long moment, something unspoken passing between them, recognition, empathy, a mirrored ache. "I'm sorry Brianna hurt you," Maricela continued softly, "but maybe it brought us together for a reason." Leanne gave a fragile smile. Maybe it did. Their shared silence was tender, full of unspoken understanding. Two women left wounded by the same man, meeting by chance in a moment that suddenly felt anything but random. "River deserves a better story," Maricela said gently, "and so do you." Leanne nodded, wiping her cheeks. "And you," she added convincingly, "deserve the truth he never gave you." Maricela's eyes warmed with something she hadn't felt in a long time, hope. "Maybe," she whispered, "this is where healing starts." Leanne smiled down at her child, brushing his cheek. "Thank you for today," she breathed, "for protecting us and for listening." Maricela squeezed her hand. "You're not alone anymore." The evening breeze passed over them, soft and salt-tinged, carrying away the last remnants of a story both women were finally ready to let go of. And slowly, gently, a new one began.